Oh, geez. Okay, I'm gonna hit live.
Hello, Facebook world. Hello, everybody who is joining us on the Insiders today. We are so happy to be here. I'm Liz, and this is Amber, and we are
Hello, everyone.
Sorry, Amber, I should have let you say hello. And we are brought to you by Giant TV and also very paranormal. And we are so excited because, you know, we haven't been really that much on the show lately, have we, Amber? We've been so busy.
Not since Christmas. We have been on a little bit and just trying to get, organized.
Yeah. So this is an exciting day for us, and we want to make the shows about you this month because we're always bringing you exciting topics and stuff like that, but one of the biggest challenges that we're all facing right now is the pandemic, and I don't think we've done any shows on it.
No, we've been just talking about maybe, at the beginning about how to keep balanced and things like that, but now we're well in and we're trying to, bring some more information because we're a little bit, we're still in it. We're still trying to do it. And after this long, we're outside of that whole, okay, emergency kind of state. Now we're like, this is how it's going right now.
Yeah. So it's one of those, we should talk about it because it is getting, I'm seeing the temperatures raise. I can feel, as can you, people feeling overwhelmed and daunted by the second lockdown. And when's this going to end? The kids went back to school today. So we wanted to kind of give you guys an opportunity to, reach out to us and ask us any questions. But one of the things we wanted to sort of kind of talk about was something that, we've both been, sort of challenged with. And for Amber, it's missing her folks and her grandparents. And for me in the beginning, it was missing my grandchildren and my daughter. So when you're really close to somebody and all of a sudden that's taken away, talking to them over the computer is just not the same, is it, Amber?
It really isn't. One of the things I've been reflecting on is just, I've always had a close connection to my parents and to my grandmothers. And my grandfather, but he passed like quite a while ago. So just recently, that close connection physically with them. And we always make a point of talking or at least getting together. My mom is really good at that. She'll make sure that we have like almost for every occasion or just because, or she'll find reasons to have parties and get-togethers for our family. And that's something that she loves to do and we loved to be a part of. So now we have the not seeing each other, not celebrating, not having all this stuff. And it's hard on them. It's hard on us. And I've been reflecting a lot about, what are the things that I'm happy that have left me in this whole year? And what are the things that have left me that I'm not happy about? And so that's when I was saying to you, Liz, today is like, I'm struggling more and more with not being able to physically connect with my mom and my dad and my grandmothers. So, so that kind of led me to really having to reflect upon, okay, what is it that I'm missing? Why am I having trouble when I know I can pick up the phone or I can get on the internet or whatever with them? There was a learning curve at the beginning for technology, but now I think we've figured it out.
Talk about learning curve. Hello.
Right, well, that's the other problem is that not everybody uses these platforms and then everybody's using them. So then there's like this overload and influx of, so the things that might normally not happen, like glitching or having trouble getting on or taking 15 minutes to load are now happening because these systems have to, take this overload capacity. Which they're probably doing a great job at dealing with. It's a learning curve for all of us, but yeah, like it is not, to answer your question, no, it's not the same because you don't get the pheromones that you get when you're connecting to someone. And that's the thing that I think fulfilled me the most of, you don't know it. I've done a lot of soul searching, a lot of reflecting, a lot of meditation. And that was the thing that kept coming back. When I can hug my mom and dad, when I can hug my kids and grandkids, my husband, whoever, you get that heart-to-heart energy exchange. You get that pheromone, which makes you feel like fulfilled by that, right? And so you don't get that with technology or
you don't.
Social like physical distancing of 3 meters apart.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember when I immigrated to the UK, the only source of connection I had to my family back here was through a phone. And that cost a lot of money. So everything had to be said within 5 minutes. Like if I did 5 minutes, I was lucky to get 5 minutes because that was like a $20 bill, right? And back then that was a lot of money. So, you know, to see that the technology now, I can see how it's like so much better. However, you're right. We need that. I need to touch. I need to, you know, like, I would say the first thing one should be doing in their own house is hugging, hug a lot, connection, touch each other. If you have no one, like there are people that are alone during this time, and I just can't even fathom that. I mean, I've also been worried and sorry for single moms who are trying to do everything at the same time. I just can't even. I can't even. But what I would say is get down and hug, have that connection, because I think that is what we are all screaming and crying for, right? We're just, we want touch. Like, I can't wait to hug you, Amber. I can't wait to sit down and have a coffee and see you in person and just give you a hug when I'm leaving. Like, it's amazing. Like, I've dropped a couple of things off at your house and we're like, I can't touch you.
I know. And when we came dressed as Santa around Christmas, the first thing I wanted to do was just hug you and say, you're so important to me. You're so special to me. I just want to give you that like heart energy exchange. And so it's awkward. It's not what we're accustomed to. So it's totally counterintuitive. You want to handshake, you want to hug, that is something that your soul is determined and originally meant to be able to do, is that physical exchange. And that comes from the fact that intuitively what we're doing is we're sensing someone else's energy. We're sensing, do you feel the same way as I do? Am I giving you love because you need it? There's so much spiritual need and obligation to fulfill based on that physical human connection. And it can be, you know, somewhat fulfilled by just keeping in touch. But that human physical contact is essential to spiritual growth. And, you know, I've been calling it spiritual death because I've seen so many people go inside this shell or deep hole or cave or pit or whatever it is, being very confused with what they're feeling and what they're sensing, and knowing the right thing to do is not touch, right? We're all doing the right thing. But at the end of the day, there's still that void. We can only, you know, go through our head and make sense of this to some extent before it becomes a need. And really that's what it ends up being. So I keep talking about this spiritual death in terms of, you know, like even elderly people. They go from having very limited, some of them having limited social connection anyway, or physical connection, to, you know, maybe going out to get their groceries or going bowling or doing this stuff, and then now not connecting to anybody. And you can see the aging process has just like surpassed them. And I'm attributing this to what I'm calling spiritual death in terms of, because our soul never dies. I don't believe that. Yeah. That it dies. So right. I'm saying spiritually, when we're fulfilled, when we're being mindful, when we're feeling authentic and stuff, and it can make us feel really withdrawn. So I think that's what I feel so sad about, is that we don't know the repercussions of spiritually how this is affecting us. What we know is we can rebuild and raise our vibration again, but we also have to teach others, like children or elderly or people who aren't, you know, highly sensitive people in terms of energy, how to do that.
Yeah. I think of all the little babies that have been born during this time frame. And I've got a few friends of mine have had grandchildren, and I can't even go see them. It just, it breaks my heart. So what are those children going to be like, not having that one-on-one connection with outside influences? But I have been thinking about this, and, you know, I ask the questions, right? So why is this happening? You know, not why. That's not the question I ask. Is what is this? What is the purpose of this?
Yes.
What is the purpose of all of this? And I'm wondering if, in order for us to have that spiritual evolution, where we really tune into our energy, our soul's energy, and, you know, make it more connective to others' soul's energy. So for us, we already do that, Amber, but
Yes.
the whole collective doesn't, right? So being consciously aware of each other's soul energy, um, you don't have to be beside each other to do that. And maybe this is part of the evolution of the human race, to be able to start tuning into that. Like, we're going to be forced to sort of tune into that energy. So like you and I, it happens all the time, because we're there. We'll have a thought or an idea, and then we'll talk to each other, and it's like, I was thinking the same thing. Oh my God. So we do that already. And so as much as I miss and I want to hug you, and I feel like I get to see you all the time because I see you, I physically see you. And I've got the parameter of only ever being able to speak on a phone from my days in the past when I was, actually away from
Mm-hmm.
so to me, and letters, right? That was the days of writing letters. We survived this. We will survive this. We will evolve as a result of this. And I think the acceptance is the key. I think we need to accept what is. Um, you know, Easy for me to say that because I have accepted it, right? I didn't at the beginning, but I have accepted it. Um, I also feel like this is going to go on for a long time. I don't think this is going to be over for 2.5 years from the beginning of March. I've already stated that, as you and I have talked about, how long do we think this is going to last? So I accepted it back in March of 2020. This wasn't going to be a 2-week gig. I knew that then. So it took me probably a few months to really go, okay, I just have to act like I want this, like I've asked this to happen. And that's how I can learn to accept it. But if I fight or resist it and be angry and frustrated by the lack of connectivity, I will drive myself insane. I'm capable of that. And I know that. So I had to accept it. And I think if I could give the viewers and listeners one tip today, that is accept what is. That which you cannot fix or change, accept it as if you implied it to happen. That way, when the change does come and we go back to semi-normal, because we'll never go back to normal, I don't think. We'll go back to a new normal. You will be ecstatic. It'll be like a joyful, like carnival day. Right now, you just have to enjoy what is. You have to take acceptance of what is. And it's not easy, guys, but it's a choice that only you can make within yourself.
Yeah, and I would just elaborate on that too. Is like another tip would be the awareness, right? So Liz, you alluded to the collective consciousness, right? So it is really tapping into that. That was the one thing I found that I thought that this was causing a positive effect. And the other one was to really connect to self-care and do the self-love piece, right? Because we weren't doing it properly. And so now there's the collective consciousness, there's connecting to the self-care and giving what you need to feel healthy, but also really realizing what you want and what you don't want and aligning your life to that, right? So there's that awareness level. So another tip, the awareness of what information you need to get to the acceptance level, because if you don't understand why this is happening, then you're not going to be able to accept it, right? And then having the awareness that where this is coming from, why it's happening, and what it's bringing about. And then in terms of like even just coping with the spiritual part of this pandemic, I don't know about you, and I want to hear what you do, but the heart center is what I feel I was speaking about when I was talking about hugging, right? Is that heart center connection. So what I find I do intuitively is I have this little pillow that I use to sleep with because I have to keep it under my neck because I have an injury in my neck and shoulder. So I have to keep it propped up. So if it's not in the right spot, then I'll pay for it. But what I've been doing intuitively is while I'm still awake, I put it in front of my heart, like over my chest, and I almost like keep it like tight. So what that kind of spiraled in me was, one of the other tips I wanted to talk about today was the connection of self-hugging, holding onto a blanket, sweater, something that reminds you or that you can get, maybe it's your spouses and you guys are separated right now because you can't live in the same space because of the pandemic, or what have you. But also the use of those, weighted blankets. Those you have to check and see, because there's weight limits, there's age limits, there's all those things you have to check and see. But having that weighted blanket also makes your body feel that secure feeling. And when we feel that, we can also spiritually feel then grounded. And when we feel grounded, we have an easier time with coping with what's happening around us, because spiritually we need to ground, right?
Oh yeah.
So what do you do? Just like in terms of like, do you do anything like intuitively to make yourself feel safe or grounded or loved?
So one of the things we did was we got a cat, right?
Yes.
At the beginning of the year, we got a cat. Like, I knew that I needed an animal. I intuitively knew I would need an animal during this time. And I'm so grateful that I brought him in.
Yes, they're
in February.
so great.
So great. So if that's on the agenda for you, maybe think about that. Get a pet. If you're allergic to animals, and you can't have anything live in your home, then a teddy bear.
Yes.
Anything that resembles something that you can hug. Because I agree with you, Amber. Now I'm blessed that my husband's a hugger. I'm blessed with that, and a cuddler. So I have that. So I don't feel, I'm blessed there.
Oh my gosh, and I'm hearing you and I'm laughing only because my husband is so cuddly. But because I'm an empath, I'm like, dude, know your space, back up. I got boundaries. You're in my space. I can't have it. So literally, I feel like I told him, don't come near me. Don't touch me. Don't, because when I'm in that whole, I need to ground space, I can't be touched. So now I'm laughing because you're like, oh, that's good for you. And it would be for me, but I keep saying, don't mess with my chi. So if I'm in that like blah space, it's not helping. But when I'm in that whole grounded space, I'm like, okay, that feels better.
Yeah, exactly. I have that too, Amber, where I need like my space and my time, and I kind of disappear down into my little girl cave, we'll call it. But like there's so many, and reaching out to friends, having hardcore conversations, having emotional conversations, like but you were right. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said part of this, the plan of this COVID, is for us to connect with self.
Yeah.
And not connected with self, and we rely on others for self-worth, value, connectivity. If we rely on that, then we're going to be in trouble, right? So we've got to learn to become more self-reliant, and it's empowering. It's not a forever thing. It's just get tuned into you and what makes you feel good. So one of the things I have been doing for myself is I have been like creating. The projects have always been there. I have been like writing lists on all the projects that need to be done in my home. So these are things that stress me out, overwhelm me. If things aren't in order, I have like it's not OCD. Well, maybe it is, I don't know, but I've been very lazy with my OCD if I do have it. But I have been creating a list of all the things that need to be done, and I've been tackling those all the time. So I'm like dedicating like serious hours to that on a daily basis. As you know, as you are, we're both busy with our business. We've been really putting a ton of energy into our business, and putting like, there's so many things that are on the launch pad right now for both of us. So, there's been a lot of work put into that. But connecting with friends, either through the phone, through Skype, and or through Facebook. Facebook has been wonderful for connecting. A lot of people aren't liking it because of the stress there, but I want to add, one of the tips I use is acceptance, not to take things personally. No matter what somebody else's opinion is, it doesn't matter. And just because they have an opinion that is opposite of yours, it doesn't matter. You can say your piece, but don't get upset about it if they don't agree. It's all good. The key is to not be connected personally to someone's written word, because
or that works well in relationships too. There's so many people that are like connected right now, Liz, right? Like we're in the house, we can't leave, we don't have those outlets that we normally do. Tensions can be running high between friends or spouses or parents or whatever. So that works. What you're saying is going to work for anything.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to check on our screen here, Amber, and see who's with us.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I want to mention to you that one of the things that I've been working on too is writing a letter to my loved ones. And you had mentioned about back in the day and writing letters. Well, I wanted to write it from a perspective of, okay, like this is the naked truth. This is how I feel. And this is what I want you to know about how you touched my life, how I feel like I miss you, or what I miss, or what I look forward to, and to give everybody that I love that message from me, because I don't care if they respond to it. I don't care if they say nothing or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. How someone responds is none of my business. But what I needed to do was to be able to give that to them, so that if I always think, like, if I were to die tomorrow, okay, what did I do or say that I could be okay with? And I'm not going to live with the regret that I didn't get to do it. So that's what I've been working on since about November, is writing these letters. And I found that really helpful for myself, even just because when you recall those memories from somebody, it brings you back to those emotions and high vibration energies that that have imprinted. So when you're thinking about that, or you're bringing about the love that you're connecting to with this person, you're raising that vibration and spiritually connecting again to them. So that will help.
Yeah. And so it's so funny. And it's a bit morbid sounding, but I created it.
Mine was too.
Well, I created an If I Die file on my computer.
Oh, geez. I don't have that.
Yeah. So I wrote a letter to like my grandchildren and my daughter and my husband, and basically just telling them exactly how amazing they were to me. But I also have a last will in there, and my wishes and passwords to everything. It's like in the event that I was to get this, and I did it early on, Amber. I did it like in April of last year, because I thought if I was to get this and not make it, I don't want them to have to panic and figure all this stuff out. So I know it's morbid sounding. Most people can't handle the discussion on death.
Yeah.
Me, it's not a big deal because I know what's beyond where we are now.
Yeah.
But like I say, not a big deal. It's a big deal when we lose somebody. I mean that from a perspective of, I know I can still connect. So,
yeah, for sure. It's how you perceive it to be.
I just don't want anybody to take that the wrong way, because it can be perceived.
Yeah. And like, I've always done that with my friends and family. Like, I'm the person that when you leave my house or we leave each other, you're expected to text me to tell me that you've arrived home. And if you don't, you can sure as hell connect to me later and hear, did you make it okay? Are you home? What has happened to you?
Exactly. That's me too, honey. I'm so there. So there with you. Okay.
And those are the things, like, I've always taken, like, tell someone how you care about them, or tell someone you love them, and don't sit there and dwell on something that you think happened that you didn't give them the opportunity to discuss with you, because it helps you zero by doing it that way, like zero. So always be transparent, and that's probably what it's coming into.
Yeah. And if you have a hang up with somebody, or if you've fallen out with somebody, forgive them. I'm not talking about hanging out with them again. I'm not talking about, reconnect. I'm not talking about that, because there's a lot of relationships that can't be reconnected with. But forgive them. Let it go. You don't need to hang on to that stuff. It's negative energy, and negative energy just weighs you down and makes you think and all of those nasty things. And there's no need for it. Release and let go. Forgive, forgive, forgive. So I'm going to go into,
and it's easy. And on the last note of that, Liz, is it can be easy to get lost in this whole, okay, I'm hiding in the pandemic, I'm hiding in the physical distancing. But what happens is it romanticizes your anger, it romanticizes the issue. So it becomes bigger, bigger, bigger. But then what it also does, it makes it easier as time passes to not deal with something, and you're hiding from it, or you're avoiding it or whatnot. So try to remember what it is, or deal with it immediately, but don't let the time that's passing give you kind of like a hall pass for not dealing with it, because guess what? It comes around. You cannot escape spiritual lessons. They come around again. So you can avoid and hide right now, but they come back around for sure. I have had it. I know it. You've had it, right, Liz?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Many times. Many times. And I'm sure a lot of you are like sort of smiling to yourself going, yeah, you're right. So yeah, just
Yep. Might be a different person, different place, but it's coming.
Let it go, guys. Let it go. All right. So we got a couple of folks here. We got Jackie Skidmore saying, hello, beautiful ladies. Hello, Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
I always like those, the connotations were beautiful. I love hearing stuff like that. It's beautiful.
Aww. Right?
I'll take it. In this pandemic, when I'm walking around in my pajamas half the day, I'll take it.
Yes, right? It feels better.
Cecile Marie Jacob is saying, hello, darling. She says, it's getting to be too much. And she posted that early on in the conversation. So, yeah.
Cecile, sorry. It's Cecile.
Yeah.
It is too much, right?
It is too much. But you know what? Like anything in life, that old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Just think of yourself as a work in progress and take every day as it comes. There are people who we've been dealing with on a regular basis who are, at a loss because they've lost and they've had to bury people without being present. They've had to lose people. And I get all like that. This is just, there are countries that I have friends in different countries who are in way worse conditions than we are here. So always look for reasons to be grateful for, we're in Canada. We got a great health system. We're getting money. Those people that aren't working are getting paid. There are people are generous and lovely, and where there's a will, there's a way. We can get through this.
Yeah, and just accept that it is okay to say this is too much, or this is hard, or yesterday sucked and today is a little bit better, not great, a little bit better. And just to say it, because I can tell you there's not one person, leader, influencer, nobody has not woken up and had a day where they feel like, oh my goodness, what the heck, so by you saying it, embrace your communities, embrace your connections that you have. I also always tell people not to be afraid to reach out to people to get support, like through counseling or support groups or things like that, because those places will help you make sense of what it is that you're dealing with. Not necessarily you, Cecile, but I'm just saying in general, like those are good resources to talk to and to reach out to, because it's not something that we're all sitting here going, oh my God, I'm struggling so much, but maybe, my neighbor is, and she looks happy all the time. And meanwhile, she's only happy because she saw you to smile, to say hello. That's so right. Everybody is dealing with it in their way. And some days are harder than others, for sure.
100%. 99.9% of the people are in their minds overwhelmed. On the outside, they look great. So, I agree. Let it out. Be okay with not being okay.
Yeah.
But move forward. Don't get stuck in that
trap. It's not weakness at all. It's so strong to say this doesn't feel okay. And this should never feel okay, people. This is not something that we should get used to or accustomed to or feel like this is supposed to be the way we're doing this. Like this is not, it's so counterintuitive to live this way.
Exactly. All right. So we've got Roseanne Cicchini. Hello, Roseanne. Hello. Christina Madeleine is saying, I'm loving everything you both are saying. It is really resonating with me, and I'm sure others. Well, thank you, Christina.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad. Because you know what? We're feeling it too. Yeah.
I mean, I had a whole week there about a month ago where I was like, leading up to Christmas, it was a weird Christmas.
Right.
And I was freaked out. I was like, how am I supposed to do this? And I didn't know how to do it properly. And I kind of just went into my little, cocoon and hung out there with myself, hung out in the victim energy of it. And that's where I'm saying you got to release and let go, because you can hang out there way too long like I did. Okay. Melinda Mel is saying, yes, I love my weighted blanket. Best thing I got. I got to try.
Good.
Yeah.
I wondered if any of you have had it or tried it. Do you recommend one? Because I think my mom bought my grandmother one and she's really liking it. But my grandmother's also 95 and she's very tiny. So we had to get her the right weight, right?
Okay.
She feels so much like she can sleep now.
Oh,
Or she can lay down and feel comfy or whatever she's doing with it. She feels good, right?
Aw, that's perfect. I'm going to look into that because I've been
Yeah.
thinking about those and you brought it up and then Melinda's bringing it up. So Christina's saying cats are the best. I miss my angel kitty so much.
Oh,
I know, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Cats they're amazing because they're not, and so are dogs, right? Dogs are
absolutely.
they're like your best friend. Cats are more like your fair weather friend.
Yeah.
I'll hang out with you, but then if you keep rubbing my belly for too long, I'm gonna take out your hand. Yeah, I got that. I
thought you were gonna say take out your aorta. I was like, what kind of cat did you adopt?
He looks like he's so happy. And he's just like, yes, keep rubbing my belly. I love it, love it, love it. And then all of a sudden he's like, attack. Yeah. And grabs on and he's huge. His head is this big. And he just grabs onto my hand and I'm like, buddy, okay, you just have to say stop. I'm done. I won't do it.
Do you know what? This is hilarious. Anything as an empath, you can connect to animals, right? Like you have the nature connection, the animal connection, whatever. But we have a huge empty space behind our home, right? Like it's our yard is fenced, but we have a huge space behind our home. And we always get like lots of wildlife, right? So we have had bunnies, like a family. So it's been a mom and a bunch of babies. Now, since we've moved into this home, we've watched mom turn into tiny little have the tiny little babies, and they live in our backyard. Well, I believe they do because they're always there. So what I've enjoyed to do, especially with the grandbabies, because they live here, and again, fortunate because I have everybody living with me right now, right? So I'm able to see them, but we go out to the back door, the patio door, and we're able to watch them or through the family room window. And we get so much joy just by watching her and the dynamic with her little babies that are now becoming adults or whatever. And just seeing them and seeing what they're doing, like it brings us joy. Like, okay, what is the saga of the bunny family today, right? So it could be just wildlife, or like if you get joy from feeding the birds or whatever, bird watching, it really does bring joy.
100%. I have these two squirrels that I've called Chip and Dale. They remind me of the cartoon, the Chipmunk,
Yes.
right? So
yes.
One of them is just like a spastic little fella, and he reminds me of like a lamb in the springtime. You know how they just jump around and goats jump around, like they just don't make any sense. They're like walking around normal, all of a sudden they spaz out.
Yeah.
This is what my two little my chipmunks, my squirrels do. And I've got it on video, and maybe I'll post on the Insiders page one of the videos because it's hysterical to watch.
Yes.
I sit there and I'll spend 25 minutes just staring out the window watching them. They're so adorable.
See, I love it.
Yeah, that's that. I actually never even thought of that, Amber. That's a great way to tune in. And birds for sure. I love birds. So Melinda's saying, haha, my cats are being overhugged. Of course they are. Tammy Urenko is giving us the hug symbols, and writing letters is such a lovely treasure. I agree, Tammy. I think that was a great idea of Amber's. And she's also saying, yes, I have old cards with my dad's writing. He has passed, but love that feeling that comes over me when I see his handwriting. I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
I found one of my grandmothers. She and I used to converse back and forth. She lived in the UK, and that was my connection with her. And I can tell you, I only saw the woman maybe a handful of times, but I knew I was treasured and loved from those letters. So yeah, that don't ever think that it's just a letter, because those letters are amazing.
Yeah.
And Tammy's also saying definitely there are always someone worse off. Yeah. And she says, yes, I purchased my granddaughters as well as my daughters for Christmas. Love them. So she must be talking about the weighted blankets, I'm assuming.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. Oh, good. So more people. Yeah, those are great things.
I got to look into that. And Stephanie Little saying she has 3 wild turkeys that visit daily in this winter. Her new favorite pastime. They came with 3 blue jays today. Awesome.
Wow. Okay. Well, if that is not a sign, I don't know what is.
I know.
Wild turkeys and 3 blue jays. That's
Right?
amazing.
I mean, I had a robin. I've been seeing a robin show up in my backyard, and I was of the belief that robins were only in the spring. And he's been showing up, and my feeder has emptying very quickly. Like I have to do it daily because they're starving, I guess. I don't know.
Aw.
Animals are so starving. But yeah, I feed them like crazy. And this guy's been showing up, and as soon as I come to the door, he's like, he lands on the tree right in front of my door and starts squawking at me like, "Are you gonna come out and feed us, lady? We're like overdue here. Like you were supposed to be out here an hour ago." So I've been getting that little message, and then I've got 2 crows that have been showing up, like big crows, and they are so noisy. You know when they arrive. So I googled what the meanings were, the totems. So Stephanie, do that. You'll be surprised at what you learn.
Yes.
So
Yeah, there's good resources for animal totems, and even the term, you have 3, Stephanie. So in numerology, even the term of like what the number 3 or 3 is for you too, and it'll give you the message.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Amber, we are way beyond our time here.
Yeah.
We both have stuff we have to get. We have other appointments to get to. So we love you guys. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for sharing this time with us, everybody. And, thank you, Liz, as always. I think that today was, great. I would love to hear in the comments if you would love to post, what spiritual revelation you have had, or what do you feel like you've grown or lost or, detached from, or even become accustomed to. This is the new way of what you want to do, and have that clarity for you. So share with us what that is, because we would love to hear how you're coping, dealing, living right now while we're physically apart.
Absolutely. And we'll see you soon. Okay,
Yes.
guys.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.